Steven.
I can't believe it, gentlemen. So the blue streak is a half an hour late. This is the worst possible thing that ever going to happen. But anyhow, my name is Steven Oshetsky. You may know me as Chief Studios, the Fat Foamer, or the Fat Foomer. But a potato, anyhow, as the Irish say it. I am joined here by Jack, aka Arkansas Locomotive Works.
I just shat
Michael,
so aggressively.
aka Shoreline 614.
Hello, Retisted.
You guys loved him so much, and Ryan is dead now. He's officially dead. He's going to England, which means that if he were to regularly do the show with us, it would be 2 a.m. for him, which, it's not the best schedule for him. So to replace him from the caverns of Eastern Kentucky, here's Brandon, aka BMI Rail Link on YouTube.
Hello, folks. How y'all doing?
Yeah, Jack, you say the blue streak is never late, but we can always claim to be the 1970s blue streak, where it was chronically late.
Nice!
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, here we are. We're joined by, again, with this smashing reappearance, Rokeman 1445.
Rokeman, I could strangle you.
Strangle.
Strangle.
Am I with a bunch of Canadians now?
I could strangle you.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh, bud, I'm gonna fucking strangle you.
Oh, I'm gonna strangle you now.
I'm
By the
gonna
way-
strangle you now, mate.
That's not Canadian at all. That's
I know, I'm going like Scottish. I'm Scottish, mate.
Oh boy.
Anyways, yes,
Damn.
we have Brandon is back because he is our friend, and
No, that's not Ryan. That's Ryan. That's just Ryan 2 Electric Boogaloo.
yeah, it's Ryan too.
I am Signal Ryan.
Yeah, it's not Brandon. Brandon doesn't exist. It's Signal Ryan.
No.
Guys,
Brandon was just
guys,
thinking
we
of
have
our
competition.
imagination.
We have competition.
What's that?
Drayton Blackgrove is live with Norfolk Southern Trains in Tennessee.
Oh no.
Wrong. Boring. Anyway,
Everyone
don't watch
watch.
the cool shit.
Oh no! Anyhow,
Lame-o. Yeah.
with this episode, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking about how to make a convincing, very nice fictional railroad.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
We will
and
also be talking
before-
about normal stuff.
Yeah, before we do that, we gotta pay homage to our boy, Mr. Ryan Loebner. He's currently, I think he's at either BWI or Dulles. I think he's already flown out. He's on the plane, heading to England. We had a nice chat about what locomotives he's gonna bring, and I said bring a Penn Central locomotive and confuse all the British boomers. He's obviously representing the greatest railroad to have ever existed. Like, clearly, there's no fucking contest. Penn Central. That, but unironically, this is so chaotic. I love it. Oh yeah, East. This is a chaotic version of the
Welcome,
terminus.
Aiden. Welcome, fellow Floridian, to the Florida Man podcast.
Hello, Aiden.
Actually, Aiden would be an interesting next choice.
Yeah,
Yes.
we should
Just
get
like
him on.
We should get all the fat guys on instead of a fucking fuck.
Aiden's not
Anyways,
fat. Quit making it in my head.
Steven, you did stuff this week. Tell us about the stuff you did.
Okay, so this week, first week of school. The first day we had a gas pipe leakage, so the fire people had to arrive. This school is brand new. It's about 70% complete, but it's OCPS, which means success, which means that we're going to rush into everything. That includes the buses. Some buses had to make 3 trips for one kid. The buses are so overcrowded, some kids are sitting on the aisles during a global pandemic. I love you, OCPS. Never change. But actually, school's been really great. The food's great. The people are great. It's good to see our friends again. I struck gold with my teachers. To just give you an idea of how great my teachers are, my history advanced teacher did a tier list with us of a Civil War general's beard tier list, and it was great.
Hold up.
It was great. Yeah, that was that I go to school, and then today I went to the notorious, the legend of Plant City, Florida. This little Hillsborough County town is iconic for a certain virtual rail fan event, which shall not be mentioned due to obvious reasons. But I went to an antique store, many antique stores. It consists of antique stores. That's what downtown is. It's horrible. It's so dead. And the museum was closed. The rail museum was closed, which was fun for a rail fan like me, I guess. And we went to an antique store, And I got the models shown here, I guess, Michael. Are you showing models?
Well, yeah. Oh, I should be sharing my screen.
Yes.
You know what? I should really have like a checklist.
Mhm.
That's one consistent thing I just keep for doing. Share your screen, Foomer. Well, I am a Foomer, and I am sharing my screen.
So
Ah,
apparently these are semi-rare Athearn rolling stock from like the 1940s or 50s. They're not in an Athearn blue box. They're in an Athearn yellow box, which is very odd for old Athearn. But yeah, I was just I already went to 3 boring ass antique stores trying to find trains. Said okay, I'll give this last one a chance. I go in, and as soon as I go to my right, there's a whole shelf of model trains. It was great. So I scored these 4 lads at a reasonably low price. I really like them. Sometimes you have to sit back and appreciate like a reasonably priced detail box car in the model rarity income a community in a world where everything is so damn expensive.
There's only one problem with one of those box cars.
Mm-hmm. No
Monon.
Monon.
Oh yeah, Brandon and his
Oh yeah, for
Monon
those
hatred.
who don't know, Brandon over here hates the Monon with a fiery passion, despite it being the railroad that funded the railroad that ran through his town.
Yes,
But yeah,
and for the museum that I volunteer at.
they were nice. They run great. I did some surgery on a thing that Michael gave me, and I replaced the pumps on my AC-11 that fell off while I rode the hell score on the Silver Star, which I mentioned in episode 1.
Anyways,
Yeah,
Patrick says school are for losers. I respond to that with saying, shut
Patrick,
up, adult.
work is for even bigger losers.
He says, show us the beard tier list.
Unfortunately, I don't have it saved on my school account. I'll show it to you when I can find it.
I do have a picture of young Stonewall Jackson.
Look at this.
That facial hair looks familiar.
Look at this chud. This is Michael. That is not Stonewall Jackson. That is Michael.
Yeah, this is me. We have the same facial hair. This is him at West Point, I think. It's a painting. But, anyways.
Definitely Michael.
Yeah, definitely me.
Listen,
listen, guys.
Aiden,
did.
The Southern serves everywhere but Florida, Aiden. Let that sink in. Okay.
Listen. I too got shot by a friendly fire cannonball in Petersburg, and I think it was July of 1863. Someone correct me on the date. I do know it was 1863, though.
On the way back on the Silver Star, we passed by the place where Stonewall Jackson was shot, and I started laughing uncontrollably.
Shut up. Anyway, yeah, May 10th, 1863, not July. Sorry. But, yeah, Petersburg, Virginia. I've only ever driven through Petersburg, Virginia, and it's kind of meh. Michael is Stonewall Jackson confirmed. I mean, we are both Virginians with the same facial hair. That's about where that's about where the similarities end. Yes, they did serve Jacksonville and Palatka, but that's barely Florida.
Also, it's not near Petersburg where he died. It was south of Fredericksburg.
South of Fredericksburg? Oh, for some reason I thought it was Petersburg.
But Petersburg was pretty shit.
I haven't done a deep Civil War dive in maybe like 5 years, so that's...
Listen, Aiden, I thought you knew this. Jacksonville does not count as a part of Florida. We don't want Jacksonville.
Just like Kentucky doesn't want Louisville.
Yes.
Anyways,
Louisville.
Like how Virginia doesn't want the area in which I live.
Okay, so next, who else?
That would be Jack.
Did
you do literally anything?
Well, school started on Wednesday.
How was it?
Pretty cool. There was a school shooting at the middle school that's right behind my house. That's all. No train stuff. Yeah, some kid shot another kid at the middle school behind my house.
Like, literally shot him.
Yes, the kid died.
Yes.
Oh, what the hell, Albuquerque?
I know. Okay, that's completely different. So, yeah, I literally did nothing, so, yeah.
Alright, Henrique, you've done some things. Henry.
Yes, I apologize. I'm so sorry. So, I ordered a bunch of photo slides, and I thought they were prints, but apparently not. That's very cool.
Rest in peace.
So this one is our favorite, the real Henry the FL9. Possibly days, weeks. I'd say maybe a month would be a little bit of a stretch. But that's it at the museum, CT Eastern Railroad Museum. And the other one is New Haven, Mikado number 3006. I believe that one was in Providence on on snow clearing duty. I can't pick out an exact date, but I know it was sometime between 1952 and 1960.
I have a question for you, Henrica.
Yeah.
Because New Haven was such a small railroad, it sounds like they had a shit ton of like facilities and a shit ton of towns that were very close to each other.
Yes.
So like they had one in Boston, right?
Yeah, they had one in Boston. That was 3020. They had one in Providence. That was 3006. This one. And
No,
they had
I mean like shop complexes and stuff.
Oh,
like,
shop complexes, not Mikados on snow removal duty. Whoops.
Two
because
completely
it's a
different
small
things.
railroad. Do they have like many, or just like one at like Hartford and that's it?
They had a handful. Sorry if you hear any noises. I brought Tommy upstairs, so we're just chilling.
Tommy.
Bird.
Bird.
The bird is the word. Did you know? No.
Yep.
Full Metal Jacket? Yo, people should only know that song from Full Metal Jacket, not Family Guy.
Yeah, which I know from Full Metal Jacket because I watched that when I was like 10. And I was like, "Hey, Steve, we want to watch a funny movie." It's like, okay. All right.
But yeah, funny slides.
Very nice.
There's a third one, but that one didn't come yet, so I'm still waiting.
Ouch.
All right. Now, Patrick says Jacksonville is so bad even 1504 didn't want it, and meanwhile Jack says Jacksonville doesn't exist. Correct.
I've been there. People, trust me, it's like the dirtiest city on earth, according to my dad.
1504 is going to a better home.
Dirty.
Yeah. Anyways,
I'm in Clewiston. I've been to Clewiston too, and trust me, it's.
Well, yeah. Well, one's a sugar-producing city, so you would expect
it's child slave, right?
Yeah, it's
Michael.
child slave.
Right, Michael, child slave.
Nobody will
get that.
Nobody
joke
will
except me,
get
Michael,
that
maybe
except
Jack.
me, except maybe 3 of us or 4 of us. Anyways, I didn't do anything this week after my Georgian adventure last week. What did I even do this week? I can't even remember. It just the week just flew by. But I decided today, I didn't have much time to actually write any of this stuff down, that I am going to embark on a project. And a modeling project, and when many people do that, they're like, oh, I'm going to paint up something in my fictional, oh, I'm going to model this train. No, I have decided that I am going to get one of every single diesel locomotive that the Cotton Belt ever rostered.
Jesus Christ.
So the only Cotton Belt locomotive I have right now is the Bicentennial unit. However, for birthday, I should be getting a Snoot, and I also want to get a standard tunnel motor, and then SD45, and then work backwards from there with like GP60s, Dash 8s, whatnot. So that is my current modeling project. I know it's the further back you go. Oh yeah, I also tried to stream yesterday. I tried to stream KSP yesterday, but my internet literally died. Clewiston isn't much better, says East, and Clewiston doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, that's the Cotton Belt Diesel Locomotive Modeling Project. HO? Yeah, HO. Actual models. Not like pictures of models.
Happen.
You are going to go bankrupt. Aiden, you have to remember, I do O scale.
So he's already bankrupt.
Listen,
I was about to say.
Collecting more HO stuff actually probably means I'm going less bankrupt. 1-to-1 scale. Yes, I'm gonna buy every single. Yes, I'm going to buy every. Well, one of each diesel locomotive. I should have specified. Like, I'm not gonna buy like the 500, like the 100 280s. 100 models of the 280s.
Michael,
that the
it would be
Belt
funny
had.
if you were to buy like 500 like diesels.
Yeah, I'm not buying 500 tunnel motors. I'm not gonna buy a model of every single locomotive the Cotton Belt ever rostered, because number one, I don't think a model of every single locomotive the Cotton Belt ever rostered existed, and number two, I don't have the money, so I'm just gonna go with one of each locomotive if a model exists of it. Like, I don't think I'm gonna get some of the weirder stuff like the Lima Hamilton transfer diesel. Like, I'm not going to fork out $1,500 for a 280 in brass, so it's probably only going to be diesel locomotives. But, so that's my, East, you have no room. Patrick says, East, you have no room to talk. You spend all your money on anime figures. And then East says you can read up. It's like, yeah, I could, but yeah, no, I'm not buying 20
Aiden,
SD40s.
you know damn well that every time you cream it up to an anime video, Henry Flagler sighs in heaven and then pees on you. So
That's
think
funny.
about that, Aiden, next time you do it.
Shut up, Patrick. Anyways, that's my week. Who is
How about
next?
you, Brandon?
I had an
I'll rip
interesting
off your
week.
nutsack and put
My
it on my
week's-
door.
My week also started on Wednesday with school. However, the days before, the week before, I actually worked on my signal. That's the first thing I did, and I'm going to start back from last Wednesday. So there was a piece of the signal that was rotted out, so we patched it, we welded it, and
Very
it was
good.
very difficult to weld. That's what that guy right there is doing. He's heating it with a blowtorch.
Very nice.
For the patch was trying to weld the steel to the cast iron, which it was being a bitch, and it was just refusing to do it. However, if you go back a couple pictures, you see that threaded rod inside the signal box right there? Yeah, that right there. So there's 3 support rods inside of a signal junction box, what I call it, like that, of a USS type. And you got one in the center, you can see behind the blackwood board, and you got 2 in the front. Both the 2 in the front were completely rotted out, so we had to replace them. So we got some all thread and we replaced them. However, when I was grinding, I had something called a grinder, and I was cutting about maybe an inch, 3/4 of an inch thick steel rod. And I was sitting inside that box except cutting the rod on the other side of this picture here, and the steel grinder got caught on the wall, hit the lip of the door, hit me in the face with the cutting disc, a 5-inch
Ouch.
carbon cutting disc, and then cut me all the way down from my chest down to my belly button in kind of like a crescent moon kind of circle. And then it
Holy
caught up in my
shit.
shirt, and my shirt caught the grinder so hard that it stopped the grinder from moving, and it burnt up in my shirt.
Oh God.
Ooh.
You're
And
pretty
that's
lucky,
what that-
Brandon.
Yes, I literally almost died. The signal about killed me. Well, the grinder about killed me. About killed me.
Death by signal.
Death by signal.
Death by
He died
signal.
doing what he loved.
He died
Well, I
doing
mean,
what he
yeah,
loved.
I would have been fine with it. Yeah.
On your headstone, it's like death by signal.
By random chance, the only part of my face that was cut was a little bit of my nose, and I have a big scar on my nose where the disc cut.
That is, yeah, that.
Listen,
Good God,
listen,
someone
I-
was looking
I
out for
was-
you that day, because that's insane.
I was horribly injured repairing the signal.
Go banish.
How'd you get that scar on your nose? Oh, signal about killed me.
Wanna know how I got these scars? Signal.
Rip Brando, death by signal.
He died doing what he loved. Signals.
Anyway.
Other than that,
that
that Sunday I went to. If you go to the picture with the train, I helped Jake Record. That's the big guy in the middle. I helped him move, and we decided to take that picture. That's actually the wrong picture.
that
Shit.
Clayton?
Yeah, Clayton's on the far right. That's the
Clayton
the wrong
Backgrove.
picture.
Oh yes, I saw that on your thing.
Wait,
on Facebook,
Clayton's that
Brandon.
small?
Yeah, I'm on
Clayton
the far
is about
left. Clayton's
my-
on the far right. And
Clayton is
Jake's in the
probably
middle.
still taller than
Really?
me.
I thought Clayton
No.
was like 6'4" or
So
something.
did
That's
I.
insane.
No, Clayton's like a little bit taller than me.
That is insane. Okay.
Here, let me send the. Well, fuck. Hold
Nice
on.
L&N hat.
Thank you. I'm starting to get into railroad hats now.
Louisville and Nashville.
Here's the. I'm seeing it in the chat now. I'm sorry. I thought it was this picture, but there's the picture.
I can bring
We-
that.
Oh yeah, that's the one. That is
we-
base. I love that.
You're all wearing
we
L&N
decided-
hats.
We decided. My mom was like, "Hey, I want to get a picture of all 3 of you." So let's go to the train tracks just down the street. Well, anyway, here comes a train about a mile away. It's a mile long straightaway. It's about a mile back from the end of that train's corner. We saw him pop around the corner. So we showed up like, "Hey, let's pose for the train." And then my
That
mom
is
took this
great.
picture
You
with my
should
phone.
frame that. That is great.
I like-
I'm not very good with pictures. As you can see, I'm kind of looking off in the distance. I think I was looking at the crossing. Oh, she
No,
took
I,
me.
I
That's
find
really
it funny
cool.
because y'all are wearing L&N hats, but this is the
Yeah,
Southern
that's what makes it the best. Because
However,
Southern.
hey, hold on now. Right behind us was the crossover for the L&N
what is
Lebanon
this, at
branch.
Junction City?
Yes, at Junction City.
Oh.
that's neat.
So
Junction Sitter. Very nice.
Showing
after I did that-
showing who's the real railroad in Junction City.
yes, and then we did. I did a little bit of the 2 days before school. Did a little bit of rail fanning. Caught a -9, and we walked. Me and my 4 friends. We walked into town, took pictures of trains, and a weird Maintenance Away train came by, and then the local came by, and a coal train.
That's the main.
That's all we saw for Monday. but it was off-
I saw this out of the corner of my eye, and it's like, is that a Lima Hamilton transfer diesel?
What the
Train,
fuck?
coal cars, Coltrane. Here's the local.
Oh, very good.
Unfortunately,
SD40.
not 3422. We'll
Big
catch it
sad.
one.
That's okay.
One of us.
It's-
One of us will catch it one of these days.
Or 3421. Either
It's
one works.
It's N&W SD40. It's
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good.
It had
Very
a
good.
P5 on it. It sounded great.
Oh, so wait, it was chopped? That's cool.
No. Some
No,
N&W.
some were built with like shit like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Weird. Anyway, oh yeah, I forgot. Oh shit. And NW never really committed to the high hoods, I guess.
No, they weren't as Southern. So
Damn, fucking.
And then if you
Anyways.
go forward,
Flip-floppy
there's some
idiots.
pictures of the signal. And also over the weekend, I also tested my train horn. It's off of a Conrail Dash 8 that was bought.
Oh god, that's huge.
Norfolk Southern got when they bought out Conrail, or bought out half of Conrail, excuse me. And I tried paint stripping the thing because I was going to originally paint it L&N gray because I had two model units. I have an L&N E unit and an L&N U30B, and they both have RS3Ls on. I'm like, hey, I want to paint it L&N gray. Well, I paint stripped it, came out Conrail blue, so I said, you know what, I'm gonna leave it Conrail blue.
No, put it on your E8. Put it on your E
Hold
unit.
on,
I can't do it. It's gonna break it. You know how much that
It's
thing
so fucking
weighs?
gargantuan.
It's gonna break it.
put
Anyway,
an RS5T
Brandon,
on
do you
it.
want me to play the horn test now?
Yeah, but no one can. Only the streamers can hear it.
Yeah.
If y'all want to hear it, you can go back and listen to it. But go ahead.
I'm playing it right now.
That's a beautiful little horn.
It's not little.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Also, my grandma decided to call me during the audio recording, so I'm not sure how far in you are into this. But
I only played it about halfway.
Grandma,
oh, okay.
the horn is horning.
God,
So
that horn sounds amazing.
Anyways, we can hear the horn nice. Anyways, I'll be right back because I need to go to the bathroom, and then when we'll come back, we'll start our discussion topic, I guess. Stinkoids, please talk about random nonsense when I get back.
I hereby spawn Henry.
Yes, I am.
Can we get the
here.
Henry spawn egg? Can we get a? Can we get a hell yeah?
The Henry spawn egg?
Can we get a Henry mod in Minecraft?
Rockman 1445 mod showcase.
Yes!
It's like, hey guys, it's me, Jeep Studios from the Jeep Minecart here. Today we're gonna spawn.
Oh no! Not Dan TDM from Diamond Minecart. Oh no!
Don't call Penn Central fan 1968 in Minecraft at night.
Don't call Penn
3
Central
a.m.
fan at 3 a.m., gentlemen.
But
Okay,
He
guys,
ate
we're
my
gonna try to
balls.
speak to Rodney Kotorski on the Luigi board.
he's not dead. You can't do that.
Shh! You're gonna ruin my
No, where's the fucking
Oh, I'm
picture
sorry.
of Rodney with the gun and the fucking dead guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Where's the picture of Ronnie with a fat cigar in his mouth? Okay.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
that.
hey, yo, big deal.
I seen raccoon announcements. I know it.
I like to think there's this like city that was like just like it's like West Side Story, where half of them are loyal to the PR and half of them are for the Central. Just a constant gang war. Yeah, that fucking
I'm back.
on the
Welcome
streets
back.
of New York. On the streets of New York, directed by Martin Scorsese, Rodney Kotorski, a man.
Rodney Kotronsky.
I'm showing this.
Rodney Kotorski.
Rodney, no!
No!
Rodney,
Rodney,
gang war.
yes!
Rodney, no!
Rodney gang war.
Once the Penzi Farmer, then it was worth it.
Listen, we're here in familiar settings, as in we're in the
settings.
we're in the ghettos of Buffalo.
Guess who's coming? Guess who's
Get
fucking
no
coming?
coming. Get no go. No one's coming because I shot him.
No one's coming because I shot.
Don't FaceTime
Fucking
Rodney
idiots,
Kotorski
no
at 3 a.m. on
coming,
Horseshoe
somebody
Curve. He came after us.
He came after me.
I love how it's
to kill
labeled
my parents.
pigtail.png. It's fucking great.
Made that? Who originally made that though?
I don't know.
Like I gotta know who made that.
Ah, this is beautiful. Beautiful.
I know that channel that Rodney that we see all the Rodney videos on Valet 5000
Valet
Valet
550.
1000. Yep. Beautiful channel. I love it.
It's his
I know
friend.
that somebody else. Yeah. So that could actually be his friend, and this could be like an actual photograph.
Oh no!
Just his friend laying on the ground and Rodney holding the guy.
Yeah, Valet 5000. He hasn't posted in a month, so
We need to get
No.
Rodney. If we could find a way to get Rodney Kodorsky on the show.
I will do my
That
best because
would
I
be-
probably can.
Listen. This is not a serious
Please.
podcast, and I'm thinking, based on what I know about Rodney from just the videos, because Valley 5000 confirmed that he does act fairly similar in real life when he's not recording the videos. I think we'd have fun.
Oh yeah.
I think the discussion topics should be like how he made the videos and working on like Conrail or something.
No,
Yeah.
the topic discussion is why the Pennsylvania sucks.
Yeah, that's the topic
It's like a mix of
discussion.
all of those.
New York Central is also based because they only use GRS signals.
Yes,
Yes.
New York Central is
No.
based in every single
No,
way.
we segue into it
Yes.
with Rodney. What's your opinion on the PRR?
Oh no.
Also, fun
Okay.
signal fact: New York Central only used GRS. Guess what PRR used?
Position lights.
Fucking-
USNS.
I was about to say fucking stupid signals.
Oh, cringe.
These
What's
dot board
the
signals.
Okay. Senseless PRR bashing aside, it's time.
So,
Henry, I summon thy Henrica.
Yes, Henrica is here.
why is this?
Henrica has arrived.
I love how the show is so primitive in terms of its technology.
I know, just the things.
Anyways,
We're
let's
so-
begin.
Okay.
Just yep, that's me.
Yep.
Yo!
That's me.
Yep, that's
Okay,
me. You're
so
probably wondering how.
who's gonna introduce it? Like just the topic
Okay.
at hand.
First we showcase our fictionals for like a short time.
All right, let's just
Brandon.
go by order.
Oh,
By
okay.
order of
So
these.
Henry, preach.
Yes.
Or we should talk about what
So-
is a fictional railroad first.
Yeah, I would say
Okay.
we talk about what is, and then we talk about
What
the
is
fictional
a fictional railroad? Well, I'll tell you, it's a railroad that's fictional. Okay.
Well, yeah, obviously, typically made by a person. Alternate history, I guess, could be grouped into that. You know, sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's not. But you know, good fictional railroads. Let's talk about like what. Let's introduce them and let's talk about what we think makes our fictionals somewhat good. So I'll just go by like how this is all ordered. So Henrica, tell us about the
Okay.
the Poggers, Kipsey, and Eastern Railroad.
The poo poo pee pee and Eastern, because nobody can say the name right.
Poughkeepsie.
Okay, so this is the Poughkeepsie and Eastern. It was inspired by the Eastern and Portland Railroad, which is a fictional railroad. In the 1959 movie, It Happened to Jane, where they painted up New Haven 3016 as Eastern and Portland 97. Absolute trip. You can't find any of the good parts on YouTube. They all got taken down. It's all the late parts. But basically, the story goes for my fictional railroad is that there was originally a railroad called the Poughkeepsie and Eastern, but in like the 1910s they fizzled out, and kind of like with Central New England they went into the New Haven. Here they got bought out by somebody, and they continued living their lives. I do cooperate with our very cool friend Mad James. We all know and love Mad James. He's
Mad
very
James.
He's mad.
and
I
so
can assure you.
his fictional, the Boston and Northern, buys out the Poughkeepsie and Eastern and relabels it to the Boston and Poughkeepsie. In the early 1960s, the parent company and the subsidiary have a bet, and so the subsidiary wins and becomes independent. And so the name Poughkeepsie and Eastern sticks.
That was amazing. Just goddamn fine. Here's the dude of the railroad.
Anyway, so here's the map. I should probably share some more. Fuck,
Yeah,
Why does this keep breaking on me?
I don't know.
So what are some aspects of your fictional railroad that I am displaying
So
here?
it's very cool. This right on screen right now, that is the final run of Peony 88. It was a USRA Pacific built in 1918, I
Oh,
believe.
88. Yeah,
Oh,
the one that
guys,
everyone bullies.
It's
Is that a-
88. It's
Okay,
the one
so-
everyone bullies because I put
For-
the bell on the side.
You told me to
Okay,
do
so-
that. Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, it says cfolk88.org or call 00000000000, and I'm gonna call 00000000000
No, it's a
Brandon.
placeholder
now.
because I don't have an actual phone number.
Okay, gamers, listen.
So,
Fuck.
I'm speaking. Let me talk. It's my section. So basically, the story goes is that 88 is bought out by a former engineer, Tiernan Byrne. Love him, great guy, but he starts to develop. So he gets the engine restored, but he buys it out just as the railroad shifts to the name Poughkeepsie and Eastern, and so they just kind of slap the name on the side, and it's like sponsored or whatever. And it runs a few excursion trains in the late 70s, and then it comes back the late 90s to the mid 2000s. And so our poor guy, Mr. Byrne, Mr. Burns, I own Peony 88. And basically,
I called them. It was pretty cool.
so yeah, he passes away because of Alzheimer's. I miss him. Great man. Didn't even exist. And so they basically have a final run where they name the engine after him, and it's literally never used again.
So here's
I mean,
some
I
other
guess-
aspects. Because Henry, you
Yeah.
do model trains.
I do model trains, and so this is it's a work in progress shot of one of the F units. The F units up next. We got a GP38. I made that the other night. Pretty cool, I guess. And we got up next is a Northern, which is just an FEF clone. If you look very closely, you'll notice that this is a New York Central Niagara with an SP semi-streamlined tender. Don't Kill Me. Bachman made this.
Everyone hates those.
They're
How
so
long ago
ugly,
was
but I
that?
promise I'll make it look good.
I painted in trains once.
The
Well,
And the
that's
final
hot.
one is-
Oh,
Oh yes, I like that. I like that a lot.
yeah,
And that's based because that photo there is B&O 4500 and it's B&O.
Yes,
That is
because
correct.
B&O is Eppin.
Yeah.
but this one is 97. So the story with B&P 97 is that it was built in 1918. Lives an average life. In 1956, I believe it was, it suffers an extreme crown sheet failure and has to have the entire thing replaced.
Oof.
And so when it gets, what is that noise? I will kill
Brandon,
you.
there's something in the
sorry.
background.
Brendan, are you shitting or something?
Brandon, I will kill you.
Oh no.
Guys,
we shall
the
continue.
poo harvest is bountiful.
I accidentally
Corn
touched
harvest.
my phone and it played something from Snapchat.
And play
I'm sorry.
what? King Ass Raper Ear Ape? Fucking.
That was like sound like a fucking motorcycle.
No, Jake's at a drag race in Bowling Green. That's what there's a car.
The drag race, the bowling green. Nice. Okay.
Anyways,
Anyway.
continue. Henry,
Carry
Okay,
on, Rogue
so yeah.
Man.
So 97 gets bought out by the South Boston Railroad Museum, and because the boiler is so intact, I think it got a donor boiler from a Mikado that had been retired from another incident. I'm still fully flushing it out, but basically it gets preserved and they run it around the grounds, and it becomes the first B&P engine to be preserved. And so you can see one of the brand new Bachmann USRA light Mikados. I'm gonna keep the silver smoke box, but it's gonna look essentially like it is in the photo. Give or
anyways,
take.
Brandon, next up is you. Why is there an RJ Corman locomotive here?
Well, you can make anything fictional you want to in sense of the fictional area, whether it be something major or something small. In this case, it's something very small. As you see in the background, the locomotive in the lead, RJCC 8799, is actually running in real locomotive. However, in the background, the SD45 2014, I think that's the road number. I can't see. It's 2013. My bad.
This is in
That
Gary's log.
engine's actually been gutted and is on display in Lexington, Kentucky. However, in my fictional universe, it still has its original 20-cylinder 645 E3. So
Oh,
It
wait,
runs.
so it's still an
This-
SC45 basically.
Yes, these
Yes.
are in
Very
in
good.
Gary's mod because Brandon is a former master of Gary's mod. So let's. Gary's mod is of course a sandbox game, and of
Now,
course we make trains in it.
Yeah, and then here's something. One of the major ones. Of course, like having a customer, you gotta have your own engines and your own paint scheme, your own specs and whatnot. My railroad also likes to run road railers still, and we have our own custom road railer trailers along with some other fictionals that I work with, like Michael's Railroad and Stevens Railroad. And your fictional railroad can have anything it wants. You can have a subsidiary. In this case, it's GMCX. I'm not going to tell you what it stands for,
subsidiary.
but
It stands for Grand Main. Main.
It's the Great Main Central
I
Railroad.
Forgot, I forgot this
Also,
thing.
I want to segue into this, but Brandon's paint scheme is beautiful, and this shows the importance of a good paint scheme for a fictional. If you haven't known, Brandon's from Kentucky and is based in Kentucky. Thus, the use of blue, a specific shade of blue,
Bluegrass.
and that's to the iconic song "Blue Moon of Kentucky," which you can just tell. It just look at a scheme with the little rebel flag, and you can say, "Hey, that's Kentucky." And that's the goal of any paint scheme is to symbolize the region your railroad serves.
Yes.
And for the we have different regions in the United States. The engines that run in the southern U.S. have that flag, and then the regions that run in the northern U.S. have the American flag. And same thing with the western, and the region that runs in the Canada, what little part we do in New Brunswick, and eastern part of Canada just has the Canadian flag. So
Yes. My railroad also has a very similar thing. Here's another beautiful of the Great Main Central Railroad.
let me explain this, okay, real quick. GMCX is kind of a leasing company. However, GMCX is used as powers to run very dangerous or hazardous material trains. So
Yeah,
all your ethanol,
material.
propane unit trains are all ran by GMCX material.
Special
and
white
sometimes on
powder.
trackage. So that way, if there is an accident, no BMI or BGL or whoever railroad equipment gets messed up, and it's GMC's fault, which we can write as a tax write-off since they're technically a smaller railroad. It is kind of a tax loophole in case something does fuck up and something bad happens, but we don't talk about that. We're just a company. So
who is this
and then
beautiful gentleman?
Here's Larry Shipmore. I think that's all I need to say. That's
The greatest actor of all time.
Who is Shipmore and what is his role?
Okay, Larry Shipmore. He's a maintenance of way supervisor. He's he's a very big asshole. And he just tries anything he can do to get his way within the railroad, whether it be something incredibly minor as, just giving someone the wrong direction, as to full on moving trains to other yards so a crews cannot take them. Just ridiculous shit like that.
So yeah, another good aspect of fictional railroad are its characters, because people are what really makes a railroad go.
Yes, it's not just trackage or power equipment or whatever.
You have to
I highly agree with that.
Anyways,
and I have a bunch of other people like that. It's just we're low on time, so that's just.
Anyways, Stephen, I guess I'll show your map first. So, what is this beautiful division map of this railroad that exists?
Beautiful, more like literally a pile of shit that I rolled into a railroad. I know it looks like the worst thing on earth, but let me explain. This is the science behind making a profitable railroad. Let's say you want to make a railroad between Chicago and New York. First rule, don't do that. Hotly contested market the Northeast is. That's why I made mine the South, because A, the South is the best part of the United States, without question, and B, because I have room to breathe. You can cram in main lines between the Southern and the ACL along the Eastern Seaboard. You can't do that with the Erie, the NYC, and the PRR in Ohio.
And all that.
It's just impossible.
And everything in the CNO, they did in the NW.
Yeah.
I managed to cram in two fictional main lines between those two, but we'll get to mine.
And this is another thing. You can see other pieces of other railroads in my railroad. There's no shame in taking an obscure branch line from like the Southern Railway and expanding upon it. Just don't like steal the water level route from the NYC, okay?
Yes.
That's sort of like a personal boundary you have to apply, unless of course for the part of your lore. Now, how does my railroad make money? A lot of them eastern ports heading out to the west via the Texarkana Gateway with the TNP and the MOPAC, and Shreveport with the KCS and shit like that. Which we end up merging with the Frisco, Michael. If you can do the iconic Frisco.
First of all, I think we should have established that this is the Georgia Pacific Railroad, the Speedway of the South.
Yes,
Georgia Pacific is currently shooting you, threatening you to get its traffic.
Yes, this is what you do. Glock the schlock, give the Baldwins.
Anyways.
And this is the merger with the Frisco. It kind of fucked up. As you can tell, during a worker strike, we literally just said, kindly shut the fuck up. Back to the map real quick. Okay. And another thing you'll notice lines in coal, like Middle Tennessee, Muhlenberg County, Kentucky, up to Evansville and Owensboro. There's an actual railroad proposed to run from there to Jackson, Tennessee, for the purpose of bringing Appalachian coal to the West Coast for powering the coal mine. I mean, for powering the power plants, just in general. I thought, hey, I can make more money and be green like a good railroad. Plus, my chief competitors are Southern, and I kind of needed lines in Tennessee up to Evansville to compete with the Southern, or else I will literally get ball crushed by the fucking Southern, which I don't want to happen. So yeah, as you can tell, this is the science of making like a convincing map. You need ways to make money because you can't just have this gargantuan fucking railroad that serves many markets that are already served by fucking railroads and expect to make money.
Railroads are all about where they go. It's not just enough to go between like two major cities. And while obviously a railroad has to serve major cities and whatnot, it's like one thing that's involving making good fictional railroad is learning where the markets are and how they evolved over time and planning accordingly. If you're a railroad in, say, the West, you might want to go to, say, the Powder River Basin in, like, the 70s or whatnot, because that is a big source of traffic. And it just makes it more like these lines have a purpose. Not all lines have to have a purpose. Like, you know, sometimes a branch line is just a branch line and exists. But
yes.
No, it's not just enough to just connect dots on a map. You have to make lines with purpose. Anyways, here is a Georgia Pacific locomotive made by Mr. Falor.
This is by the extremely talented reskin artist who is my husband, Jack Falor.
Hi.
And he's like, Vanswerg and Berkshire, and I actually made lore because we connect with the CNL for big traffic. Maybe the GP is controlled by Vanswergans for a short time in the 40s and 50s, which would be funny. So maybe we do get like two whole Berkshires, but they're not like this. They're probably like high headlight or something, because I think they'll be based. But yeah,
why is there a GRS logo?
No. Listen, Brandon, GP only GRS searchlights.
Yes. Good.
Only every single mile of GRS.
Also, I made that like literally maybe an hour before we got on the podcast. So
yeah, you were making that. Yeah, it's very good, very good.
Anyways, Mr. Falor, Mexican and Sex Antonio.
Yes, this is the Sexico in San Antonio. I do not have a logo yet. I still need to figure it out. That's a different story. So what this is it's kind of retarded because basically, like, Jack, why can't you just build a railroad directly from Dallas to Albuquerque? Because fuck you, that's why. So what the MNSA is basically like, they started out like in Galveston and said, hey, we need to go to like El Paso because, you know, we want to connect with places to Los Angeles and shit. Because the original plan was to build like all the way to Los Angeles, but they ran out of money. Like almost every railroad that tried to go out there.
That's another interesting thing, like, that you can incorporate into a fictional railroad. A railroad that was half built and then it just kind of died.
Like the Frisco, for example.
Like,
yeah. They're trying to go to San Francisco. Obviously, that didn't happen. That's kind of like with the MNSA, but it didn't have Los Angeles in it, but still. But it originally was like two railroads that like merged together, like boom, Mexican San Antonio. Let's go to Santa Fe. Okay, yeah, let's go to Memphis. Okay, yeah. And for a joke, we go all the way up to the Cairo just for the memes of it.
Connecting with me, the Washington Ohio Railroad.
Just to say, like, oh yeah, I go to Cairo, Illinois, just to say I can. Because it's a meme town. It was supposed to be like the next Chicago, but no,
it was supposed to be the capital of the United States.
Also the most racist city in the entire U.S.
It's so stupid. It's just
To the point where its population was almost entirely African Americans, and then they pissed all them off, and they all moved out, and now it's a ghost town because it
yep.
lost like all its fucking population. Gee whiz!
Anyways, another thing is that, Jack, you have made plenty of Mexican and San Antonio reskins in Trains Simulator.
Yes, I have. This is okay. This is a Pacific. It's actually an excursion service on the Eagle Pass Scenic Railroad that runs out of Del Rio and goes down towards like a Big Bend and Eagle Pass. They restored it like in the 90s or something. It's literally just AWPT90. I'll find better versions to it, but I like it. It looks cool. Cool Pacific. Yes. And here is the main excursion locomotive. This is the 484. They're not called Northerns, so we call them Montezumas because we like being different. Number 260 it's you could clearly tell like, oh, that's just the fucking 819. Well, guess what? It has a Vanderbilt, so
So it's not.
so it's not. Yeah.
It's not.
And here is a Hudson that I made out of a Berkshire because I can. I don't want to. Yes, with smoke deflectors too. That was actually more of an experimental thing. Like should I give the smoke deflectors? I probably should, and I gave the smoke deflectors, and I kind of like it. I don't know why, but yeah.
Okay, and Jack's Railroad is another lesson. Jack, that's sort of like a railroad that just connects the places where you've lived, right? Arkansas and Texas and New Mexico.
Basically, but there's
In
also
recent
actual
memory, at least.
And also, there's also actual markets like oil's like a big business down in
Mhm.
Galveston and Houston and Corpus Christi, and a lot of cattle out in like.
I'm not
John Torres.
stopping anyone from doing this, but at least with me, I love having railroads in places where I've been to.
Oh
Because then
yeah,
I
that's
can
so do
great
truly
I.
too.
imagine
Yeah.
a train there, and I
Yeah,
can
me too.
truly appreciate and love my railroad. It's just
Yeah, that's
a
the only
railroad-
reason why my fictional takes
Say
place.
you live in like
some-
New Hampshire, but your fictional's like a Pacific line from like Omaha to like Eureka, California. That's good. I'm not telling you to not have. I'm just saying you'll appreciate a lot more if there was a New Hampshire railroad, and you would connect more to it. That's why the GPs in the South we have a lot, and we have a lot of lines in Florida because I love Florida, and I love trains and the swamps. That's why Jack has his out in places where he's lived because A, it's cool, and B, he can imagine the trains there. And Michael's railroad too is in a lot of regions where Michael has been, where he's born, where he's lived in. So he can appreciate it too. And Brandon, of course.
Speaking of my railroad, this is the
Yes,
Washington,
let's talk
Ohio
about it.
Transportation Company in 2021. Now,
Oh my.
one thing that I ask a lot of people. One thing is, oh, where does your fictional run? And a lot of people don't really know. They say, oh, they give you a rough answer and whatnot. And while that's perfectly fine, if you're more interested in like motive power, you're probably not going to care much. But I find having a map to figure out where exactly I go that's really nice. So this is the Washington, Ohio Transportation Company in 2021. Here's a division map, which I finished recently, which was rather
Oh yeah,
nice.
that looks very good.
So yeah, and I think there's a lot of questions and a lot of like one thing that I like to do is I like to with the history of my fictional railroad because the Washington, Ohio was real. It was real for about 4 years or so. They wanted to build between Alexandria and Point Pleasant, West Virginia, but it never happened. So I decided, what if it went on from there and there? And what I did is because I'm really into railroad history, so I followed the history of the railroad industry, and I was like, okay, what if like I like the Virginian? So what if I electrified my main line, slowly expanded on that, and I'm like, well, I'm from Northern Virginia, so I can incorporate a lot of proposed lines in Northern Virginia into my system. Or like, I go to Carolina and Georgia a lot. What if my railroad runs there? And I also started to say, well, I can't just be a railroad that's based in the South, because what if I just I have to expand over time? So I developed a history where the WNO, they buy out like the Carolina and Gulf in 1940, which is another fictional. And then like the Potomac in Ohio in 1960. And then I'm like, what if I just don't limit my, following the trends of the railroad industry and the mergers and the getting like selling off lines and whatnot. And eventually that led me to I read up on the Southern Railway, and I learned that the Southern Railway in the late 1970s, they wanted to buy the Illinois Central Gulf. So I was like, what if I do that and I incorporate that into my fictional, which is why I have the Illinois Central. And I feel like what makes my fictional really good, not really good, what makes it stand out to me is like I can tell you exactly where it runs, I can tell you the exact history, and it's somewhat believable because it's not just, it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. It follows the course of railroad history and really doesn't, well, it may not buck the trend, sort of say. It is something that is somewhat, I like to think is somewhat believable. And I also like to make maps, which is why I made this division map right here. Uh, so
Michael,
there's
go
also
on, sorry.
I'm less interested in like the whole motive power sort of thing. However, I have gotten some friends to make me some like things in the motive power. Winchester rebuilds, SD-12s, because I like, that's another thing that I like, which is I like the Paducah rebuilds. So how about if I just have my own, and I like SD-9s because I like Southern Pacific, and Southern Pacific had a lot of SD-9s. So how about my fictional railroad has an SD-9 and a rebuild program? And it's like incorporating different aspects of railroads that you like and throwing them together, I feel like makes something really, it makes something really unique. And sorry if I went off on a bit of a tangent there.
No, I forgot to say what I like about
You
my
stole my
railroad, but I'll wait for that
question.
after we're done showcasing our railroads. Are we done?
Not entirely yet.
Go on.
I think we still have yeah, I also made a logo. Like one special thing is, okay, I like electrics because so what my railroad has a lot of electrics. I like, another thing is like I'm a Chessie System fan. I really like Chessie System, and Chessie System of course had Chessie Railroad Kitten. So I had the idea, what if I make my own uh fictional railroad mascot, and thus Chipper was born. Um let me get a good, Chipper was born, Chipper the Fox, which is supposed to symbolize speed, uh, and like cunningness and like what's it called,
Canis, but
craftiness.
better.
Yeah, that my railroad wants to represent.
Because the GP, because the WNO will literally buy everything with their craftiness. That's how they
Yeah,
became so big.
yeah, it's how this is a
They are
system
indeed
that
shrewd
makes
businessmen.
sense.
It's
Yeah.
like the Rock Island if it was in the southeast.
I base mine off of the Southern Pacific, like a Southern Pacific of the East is kind of my sort of thing with it. But there's also some more stuff. Like for example, our universes are kind of weaved together. So you have in the 1960s, for example, me and Steven had the idea: what if our railroads attempt a merger? And it falls flat on its face like an SPSF sort of deal. So we decided to do that, and that's how the whole Washington Pacific thing was born.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, anyways, anyone else want to say anything?
About what the railroads?
Yeah, or just like
No.
what makes a good
I
fictional in
posted two
general.
pictures in Blue Street podcast. Michael, could you show those off?
Oh
So I can tell you
God!
things I like about my railroad. Listen, my railroad. My favorite aspect of railroading are the people. The larger than life presidents like Henry M. Flagg was like, literally, what if we build a railroad to a fucking island? Oh my god. Bill Brosnan literally flipped the table and reenacted a guy's firing just to fucking toy with him. You know, Tom Rice, this, Cornelius Vanderbilt. They're all great. They're all amazing, and I love the stories that the workers tell, their terms, their railroading terms, just the whole like bond you have sitting with some stranger in the cab of an SD-40. And this particular thing I'm working on, the Ice Cold Extras, I was watching Smokey and the Bandit, and because the Smokey and the Bandit is such an accurate representation of the South, it got me thinking about many things. But then I realized, you know who else has a route from Texarkana to Atlanta? My railroad.
Shut up.
I was yeah, it just grew from there. And this is a story about the president at the time, Earl DeWitt. He was like, of course beer is delicious, but it's illegal to drink it on the side of the Mississippi River. And we have a permit. I don't want to buy a permit because I'm cool and I have a big ego. So he tacks on reefers at the end of trains out of Texarkana between there and Atlanta disguised as watermelons from Berlin, Georgia. And I'm just going to say this now: shenanigans ensue. So stay tuned for the story to come out sometime in the next like millennium or something. God
Even
damn.
you should narrate it. Like
Hey,
throw it up on YouTube.
and this is not a complete list of my presidents, but just bullshit. This is what I was saying by larger than life figures are rarity. I just love coming up with these fucking absolute eccentric characters who control a multi-million-dollar company in a highly competitive industry. You know, some like Garfield, some drink beer, some are racist, as good old Alton Spears there. You know, pretty based, huh? Yeah, based
Clinton
indeed.
Williams, Bill Clinton.
You know, it's just that's what I love. So this is another lesson. Give your railroad a soul. Write stories about it. Expand upon the people. Just don't make them names on a document.
Yeah,
Again,
like
what I'm saying doesn't have to be a requirement, just a gentle suggestion to give your railroad layers to make it stand out among the
yeah,
others.
like with the Washington, Ohio, we have Alexander D. Cassett, who is the best railroad CEO the railroad ever had. However, he has 1968 to 1988. However, he has a downside, which was he was addicted to drugs, and that as a result, some interesting stuff tends to ensue, and the whole Georgia Pacific thing, and with that and the people involved and whatnot. You can incorporate real people into your railroad if you really want to, like
Yes, like how I incorporate a certain president from Canadian Pacific and see a sex. It ends with H. It has a middle name of H. But yeah, that's a
Like-
story for another day.
yeah, the whole
But
whole
yeah,
Alexander.
this is what makes my railroad unique, are the larger than life characters and the soul it has, in my opinion. And I think
Really?
everyone here listening should do the same with their fiction.
Really, just have fun with it.
Yeah, that's the
Have
rule.
fun.
That's the rule of the game. Have fun, really.
Yeah,
Just
But yeah.
maybe not too much fun. Don't be
Okay,
too.
I'm done.
But just have fun in a good way.
yeah. So I think
I have
think.
words.
Oh, you have words.
I have words.
I'll be
Preach.
right back again because I've drank in like 8
Preach,
bottles of water.
Enrique, preach.
Fine. We'll look at the UP.
But a
now.
terrible.
What do you want me to bring up?
844.
Put on the picture of the F unit.
Okay, I'll be right back.
There you go. Okay. So, I love graphic design. Admittedly, I'm not amazing at it, but I love graphic design regardless. You got to give your railroad an image. If it's gonna like as it was said beforehand, it has to have something that makes it stick out from the crowd. For me, it's an image, like the blue and orange. Michael copied me.
Ah.
This is the Blue Streak podcast, not a zoo.
Go on, Henry. I'm so sorry.
But it's fine. But it has to have a color scheme that pops out from the rest. Like the contrasting blue and orange. Like if I'm correct, these colors are roughly on different sides of the color wheel. At least in terms of like category. I don't think that's exactly it, but it's like it's a bright colorful orange and a dull like navy blue, and somehow in my mind I thought it worked. And you know what? I stuck with it. I'm like, well, it's better than making it like
I'm back.
welcome back. But it's better than just giving it a generic color scheme. No offense to people who haven't decided on something or whatever, but it's got to pop. It's got to look like it means business.
Adding up to Henry's great statement, which I highly regard, paint schemes are a whole other ballgame. I highly recommend this article from the Railroad Paint Shop website called "How to Make a Realistic Paint Scheme." It has a bunch of blueprints of like stock paint options from Alco and Baldwin and Electromotive Division. And you can also use my statement about and Henry's about how you really need a striking paint scheme to stand out. There's so many people who just take existing generic paint schemes, just plaster their name on it. There's only so many times you can reinvent Cigar Band. Okay, it's literally just black with like a yellow mustache.
Let me ask
White
you a
mustache,
question,
excuse
Steven.
Yes.
Is that what I did with my kind of paint scheme?
What BMI?
Yeah, it kind of looks like YN2, except with an extra stripe in different colors.
YN2, I don't see it. Yours, I hate to say it, Brandon, but yours reminds me of the Unstoppable train.
No.
I don't see. Okay, I kind of see what
I
you mean by
see it.
YN2 with like the back like slant part, but other than that, like I don't really
No,
see.
it looks Brandon. Yours uses not a lot of railroads use dark blue at all, which is a shame because it's a great color and it looks great.
Most use
So yes,
like dark
Brandon
blue,
used an
almost black.
individual color. I would say use a color that railroads don't use too often, and like Henrique said, color combination that railroads
Me,
didn't use too
me and
often.
Henry
I.e.,
basically have the same scheme. Not
I
gonna
know.
lie.
As I was saying,
Although
Team
that was
Orange.
completely coincidental, because actually originally the Washington Ohio paint scheme was blue with like yellow trim, and then I realized, oh wait, every railroad ever did that. So I'm like, okay, my mascot's Chipper. Chipper's a fox. Foxes are orange. What if I add an orange stripe and with the white lettering? And I think it provides a nice contrast.
As I was saying, the reason why it's a great contrast is because those are complementary colors because they're on the other side of the art wheel. Because I'm an intellectual artist and I take art class in school, they taught us
The
about
art
complementary
wheel.
colors. So
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
that's why they mesh so well and they really pop together. Which is any goal of any scheme is to make it pop.
Yeah.
Also,
And then
Randy, do you want me to show you this?
here's another scheme of mine. This engine was a work in progress, but what do you think of that, Stephen? As
I
well?
like that a
I
lot.
like the gray, but I still think my favorite variation of that scheme brand is the blue on like a lighter shade of blue you made that one time, the blue moon scheme. I love that.
The blue moon. I'm
I
trying
love
to
that one
find
the
it right
best.
now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Also,
find it.
while I was going to the bathroom, I had an idea because I was thinking on like, okay, what if I make the WNO even more like SP and we have a massive fucking meltdown somewhere in like a major yard, and then I, because Southern Pacific had World War III in 1979 when Houston just seized up for like a year straight, 6 months. I also need to build a hump yard in some ridiculously stupid place because Southern Pacific wanted to build a hump yard in Alviso, California, near the Bay Area. They're like, why? Roseville exists. Never happened, but
A paint scheme is your railroad brand, as Henry said. Choose it wisely. Choose it wisely. Yes, Michael.
Yes,
Show him
that's
that.
it.
That is the greatest. This is your Bible when designing a paint scheme for your fictional. If you want to be realistic, there's no problem with going fucking insane. There's no problem with that. Hell, some of the best schemes are ones that aren't based on stock designs from the company. So go wild. But this is a good Bible, especially if you're starting now.
yeah. Anyways,
So yeah, just be creative. Just really, the whole goal, be creative.
the art wheel, yeah. Be creative with your
Be
fictional...
charming, as a wise man
Be
once said.
charming.
Be charming.
Be
Okay,
charming.
what now?
Anyways, anything else?
I'm trying to find the fucking.
Yeah, so actually, let's do some fictional rare lore crafting now. Where do you want this stupid meltdown to take place?
Jackson, Tennessee.
Jackson,
What?
Tennessee. So on the Dixie, I'd have to figure out
On the Dixie Dick.
because World War III was caused by a massive uptick in chemical traffic and Southern Pacific's complete unwillingness to like do anything about it until it was too late. Well, not more specifically from like the Ben Biaginis of the world, not you know.
Ben Biagini. I'm an asshole.
Ben fucking Biagini. Yeah, that's a whole
Ben
other
fucking
topic.
asshole Biagini.
Ben Biagini is a whole nother topic that I could go on about
Also,
for 8 trillion years.
rosters. Jesus Christ. No, you cannot have an entire roster of steam locomotives in 2021.
That's one of my
that is
pet
all.
peeves with fictional rare. It's like, we still run all steam in 2021. It's like, your rarity is instantly unbelievable. I'm sorry.
If there was like a 10-mile short line, sure, with like 2 engines, sure.
Like, if you're the crab orchard in Egyptian.
But not a class 1. Not a class 1. You gotta have some diesels at least. Come on.
So actually, now that I'm really thinking about it, what I could do is I could do like a Sunbelt boom near like Moorhead Yard in Charlotte, North Carolina, where that actually might be particularly interesting because the Washington, Ohio's, the Southern Railway had their operational headquarters in Atlanta, while the like main corporate headquarters in DC. The W&O is very similar because when the Washington, Ohio merged with the Carolina and Gulf in 1940, there was a deal where they would keep the corporate headquarters in Alexandria, but the operational headquarters would remain in the old Carolina and Gulf in Charlotte. So maybe if I have a meltdown there caused by like booming traffic and whatnot, it'd be a lot more interesting because there'd be like executives running out everywhere, being like, "What the fuck?" and trying to like clear up traffic, even though half of them don't know what to do. Anyway, yes, Brandon, do you want me to show this roster?
Does anyone else have a roster?
I have
I
a
do, but it's
roster.
half complete.
I'll explain
okay.
my roster. After
This is my complete roster. I originally made this for Gary's Mod when I used to play it a lot, but this includes everything. And this is like as 2021 shit. Well, actually, it's 2020 planned 2021 with planned rebuilds for 21. It's color coded. It's kind of like really similar to ns-9s.com if anyone knows what that is. And that's what I was kind of going for here.
Yeah, this is neat. Rosters, like for example, I have a roster, but it's half done, and I don't really know. Like, I have some basic ideas. That's another thing, I guess. Have a basic idea of the railroads, like the locomotives that your railroads have. You don't need a super in-depth roster like Brandon has, although it is very nice to have one of these. Because locomotives are like paint scheme, locomotives, like that's the first thing that anyone is going to picture when they think of a railroad. Oh, what are your locomotives? And I will admit that's one thing that I have kind of lapsed on in terms of locomotives, because honestly, I don't know how to reskin trains. I don't know how to do Gary's mod. But yeah. Anyways, anything else? Anyone else want to say anything else?
a roster. My roster is steam locomotives, right? And this is one thing. There is no problem in basing your steam locomotives off of the design of other steam locomotives, especially if you're modeling trains. But always realize there's always a world outside of trains, and you can totally just make shit up that you don't have to model in trains. I like that a lot. I love designing steam locomotives on my own because it's fun and it gives you a whole sense of control and individuality with the railroad.
Yes.
And my diesel roster is literally fucking everything. Like there's Fairbanks. We're a loyal Fairbanks Morse buyer until the 50s. We're like, wait, this is garbage. Let's just buy a bunch of Alco instead. Oh, they're garbage too. Let's just buy a bunch of Baldwin. Oh, they're garbage. Let's buy EMD. Okay, done. Wait, this sucks. Let's buy GE, and then here we are.
This sucks.
Yeah, this sucks.
Let's go buy
I'm gonna
GE.
Baldwin.
That's because you decided to go into EMD when they made the fucking SD50.
I was like, this is garbage. But
You
yeah,
literally got a bad impression of all the manufacturers.
My railroad, the Washington, Ohio. It's primarily a general. In the early stages, it's mostly GE. However, the electrics are GE. We split it around 50-50. So like half of the electrics are. I don't particularly like the look of General Electric locomotives. I prefer EMD. And so what we do is, because EMD offered no electric locomotives, so all the electric locomotives are GE, while most of the diesel locomotives are EMD. And I base my roster heavily off of Southern Pacific, because of course I did. Anything else? And that's and there's no shame in, like, as I said, taking aspects of other rares you like and putting them into your own. Anyways, Henry?
Yeah, so for a roster, because of how wide it is, I have to. I basically segment it into. It's segmented. It's in parts. I'm sorry, I can't speak. I don't know why, but I have like the steam roster and like the diesel roster. We don't do electric. I'm sorry. They're cool. Okay, we lease an AM7 for a grand total of 1 week and immediately give it back to Amtrak because we don't need it. But I still am constantly expanding